What's going on, people? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are Grown A Geeks, and tonight we are here to talk about something that I think is very, very important. I am Elder Geek Sam, and joining me is the man himself, Jeffrey JP and T17. What's going on, homie?
What's up, man?
Another day, another day. So, tonight I am conflicting interests. Gotta say, I feel some kind of way about tonight's topic, but I feel it on both sides. And I really can't let one side outweigh the other because they're both equally important. But we will be talking tonight about the DC Blackout, the controversial 1,205 days in the DC Blackout boycott. It's finally come to an end, but the campaign actually kicked off previously. And there's been a lot of people that had some things to say about it. Rob Liefeld got into it with the podcaster Alex Moon, the campaign founder James Portis III. He'd been posting images about DC Comics characters, and the fact that we've gone through the DC So White campaign and had the DC Blackout. It's because despite having a number of prominent black figures in comics, DC has not had a standalone title spearheaded by any of those characters. And that's a shame. That's really a shame. DC should really do better. That's the long and short of it. But I think it there's more to it than just they were wrong and should do better. There's different sides. There's some very failed arguments regarding the finances surrounding it. And I think one of the parts that stands out the most to me is the feeling that there would not be proper support. And some of the conflicting arguments I've heard have surrounded we should just make our own characters. We should just have our own, and there's a lot of independent comics out there that are doing their thing. And hey, we've got someone else joining us here. Miss Teresa, back from her movies. She's just getting it in with all the movies, and like this one didn't work out for me to try to attend. I think this one might have been more of a closed preview, but went to go see what Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
So is it 80s Masters of the Universe cheesy cartoon glory?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I've
And
heard reviews at the
I was just gonna say that is the part that kind of caught me off guard. The 80s cheese, because I didn't really know what to expect. So I actually saw it Monday. So I was kind of like, ooh, this is kind of ooh. But then when I realized it was supposed to be 80s cheese, I saw it again today and I appreciated it more. It's very entertaining.
Okay. Well, that's reassuring because I was curious how that was going to play out and if it
If
was in
Teresa
fact
don't
going to
use the
be
F word, then you doing all right.
right.
Good.
Like I'm like, okay, good. It passed the test. That's all that matters. It passed the test. It's not foolishness, then we good to go.
Yep.
That is important. Let me see. I need this screen over here. There we go. But Teresa, we were just getting into the initial thoughts of the DC Blackout, and I'm
Right.
actually glad you're on the show because I know we have a lot of mutual friends who could potentially benefit from DC being dumbasses, for lack of a better phrase.
Well,
Um, well, we would hope. We would hope that they, the what is it, Eisner nominated comic book writers, things like that. A
right.
lot of it's important, and I want to make sure that they all get their recognition and due. But Jeff, don't want to take up too much time. I know you've got some things to say. Let's get your initial thoughts on the DC Blackout, where we are and where we go from here.
I think it was interesting because I'm not really the comic reader that I once was. I find it difficult at times to hop in and out. I enjoy the medium, but I'm more of a graphic novel, one shot, Elseworlds kind of reader versus like staying up to date with like monthly releases. So I think for me, because I'm looking more for graphic novels, I do see some things. Like I bought the Mr. Terrific. Um, I guess it's just a one shot, Mr. Terrific Year One. I bought that like a little while ago. I'm gonna dive into that soon.
No.
But I think the fact that when you look at all of the factors of what goes into deciding what is going to be made into a comic, I can't say that I have much like direct insight into how they're doing things because I definitely have followed Marvel much more closely. I think that for me, DC has always kind of felt white, even though like there are black characters and stuff like that. It's just like Superman harkens back to like a time that is nostalgic for many and not so much for others. And so
Right.
I kind of, in learning to enjoy that character, that's just something that I've had to kind of get over about how that character is framed. But same with Batman, the whole tough on crime stance, like because their characters are very ideology driven, it's just always felt like a very conservative imprint in some ways. Um, and even if they're talking about something risque, the perspective that I always felt coming from DC was more conservative than what you would read in like a Marvel comic. So I guess it's not surprising to find that out. I do think it's fascinating that you have a huge like stable of characters that you could be doing something with, and for whatever reason you're choosing not to. Like, I'm sorry, but I hear people clamoring for Static Shock stuff all the time. You own all the Dakota verse. You know what I mean? You've got um Green Lanterns. It's like you got like five different Batman titles going on right now, monthly,
Right.
right? You've got how many Superman titles going on monthly? At a certain point, you got to stop hiding behind the idea that like people won't buy it, because if I were looking at the big picture, I would be looking at the fact that Black Panther made over $1 billion. And when you look at the numbers of all those Marvel movies, all the movies didn't make $1 billion. The Avengers ones did, but of the solo movies, like the solo character focused ones, Black Panther was up there with, and that's off the strength of what? The intrigue of the character, the quality of the movie, but also gaining a new audience that you don't you haven't previously served in that capacity. And so if DC wants to come to the table and expect to be able to make a $1 billion movie with any of its black characters, at what point are you going to introduce that character to us?
Right.
At what point are you going to highlight that? Like, are you going to ask the character to do all that heavy lifting on the screen with no support from the public, no general knowledge from the public? And it really boils down to, in some ways, like the business being so blind to reality that it's all just about numbers. People like comic book creators and comic book companies have to know the type of racism and sexism that perverts its customer base. And they have to understand that, like, is maybe you put out a DC comic for a character that's not as popular, and just a couple of the black people buy it, and it's not doing huge numbers like all your other stuff. But does that then get a black person more intertwined into the DC narrative as a whole? Because as other characters start showing up in these black comics that they're reading, they're going to want to know about that. Like, how do you create a lifelong DC customer? The reason why so many Marvel fans, like in our age group, is because X-Men had like some of everybody. You know what I mean? Marvel, personality wise, there was somebody or some character that you could latch on to. Asking everybody to love your property through the lens of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman consistently, and just consistently only focusing on that, is super difficult. And you're going to miss out on people. And you're going to attract people who have ideas about the ideology that you're presenting that maybe you don't even have about that ideology. So I feel like DC really, like, they probably don't care, which is sad, especially because like my favorite comic book artist is Jim Lee, and he's over there. And I know in the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s, that was something that he cared about. He created a bunch of black characters, a lot of black mutants for Marvel. And it just feels like, why am I waiting so long to hear more about Dakotaverse? Like, is this important or is it not? Because you keep making me, you made us accept and re-accept Superman. You've done all the different things in the world you can do to try to make Superman more interesting, to modernize him, to push him forward, to not lose that interest, right? Same with Batman. Same with Wonder Woman to a degree. But when people lost interest in those characters, you put more motivation and emphasis into exploring how those characters can remain in today's world. You didn't just push them to the side and say, well, if we do a team up book, we'll include some of them niggas in there, but we don't care about what happens when you go back to the ghetto, Jamal.
Yeah.
We only care about what's going on when you up here with the white folks in outer space doing all this stuff. But so I think it's an ideological issue. I think that the people who are organizing this and are participating in it, you might need to be prepared to just walk away from DC. Like, I ain't shopped at Target in like 2 years. It ain't hurt me one bit.
I forgot Target was like, it's funny you say that. I was talking to the wife the other day, and it's like, there's this one particular brand that Target used to carry. It's called Goodfellows. And I liked some of their like t-shirts and stuff like that. And for my job, I always have to wear a sweat catcher t-shirt underneath. And I'm due to buy some stuff, and was asking, I was like, is a Target boycott? Is that I got to get some shirts. And I just had to find another solution, because I've gotten so accustomed to not going to Target that it felt like an effort to go to Target now. And
because what it is once you
unless
tell
they
me how
do
you
something
feel
to earn that business,
once you tell me how you feel, I can't unknow it until you show me you feel differently.
Right.
And you ain't shown me nothing. And that's how I feel about DC a little bit. It's like there's some stuff like surrounding DC, like different shows and stuff like that I do enjoy, and I'm interested in a lot of the stuff that they got going on. But it's also just like, what are we willing to do? What does this mean? We not we not is this just a comic thing, or is this now
Right.
does this expand to something else?
Good
Because it's
point.
like we ain't got no black TV shows neither. Lanterns
No.
is all about
Naomi was supposed to be a thing, and what happened to that?
Naomi. They canceled Batwoman as soon as they
Batwoman.
made her black.
Right.
They shelved the Batgirl movie
Hmm.
without it ever coming out.
Completed
Right.
Batgirl movie.
Completed and wouldn't let us see it.
So it's like across the board, it seems that it's hard to admit, it's hard to believe that it's not strategic. Like business is too. What is the strategy? It's just like, is everything being treated fairly? Because like Stargirl wasn't like killing it. How
No,
many seasons did that get?
3, I
Like y'all
think.
waited so long to do Black Lightning. He in a different universe. Like it DC always kind of feels like the black people are just over there somewhere. And even that one episode of Justice League where John Stewart goes back to he's like walking down the street in the hood where he
Yeah.
lives, and it's like this. Oh, so y'all making so it's a hip hop score now. Like every other episode,
Right.
we done went different places, and it's just when we go to outer space, we don't make outer space alien music. Y'all use y'all same symphony orchestra. So like, get a hood the symphony orchestra too.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that happens when it's just like you don't really know how to appeal to the audience. I feel like DC has a lot of black characters, but I don't even know how many I really like, if I'm gonna be real with you.
Well, I think a lot of that, and this is the part that I think is about to be, if the rumor mill that's out there, if the messages and the posts and the social media that I follow are any indication, some of that is about to change. And the problem has been the writer's room in a lot of cases, because you have people who are writing, and you have some very creative, talented writers who can write these great stories, but they don't know people because they're not the people they're writing about. And so if you're not getting the right writers,
Yeah.
we need more black writers to be able to write black characters.
But somehow
And
Marvel was able to figure that out and DC wasn't.
true.
See,
True.
that'd be my problem with it. It's like you already behind. Everything y'all been doing for the past 10 years is just trying to copy Marvel to catch up to them. So you're not gonna act like y'all not aware of what's going on over there. We
Right.
know
Or they
y'all know
just
what's going
being
on over there.
willfully obtuse because they have the whole milestone roster. Those are
Yeah.
good writers. Why not utilize them?
Because it comes down to a point where it's just like this. Are you going to do something about it just to try to make this go away, or are you actually like making a commitment and understanding that like telling the stories of these black characters is valuable to us and valuable to our community in a way that isn't 1000% like based on money? Because a lot of comic books, a lot of these main characters would have been canceled a long time ago if it was about that. But y'all cared enough about those characters. Y'all thought those characters mattered enough to make changes, to give interpretations, to go find the kinds of writers that needed to be able to write in a new age where everything wasn't like all like super idealistic like it was like back in the day. Like you needed to go find the writers who could make a gritty story. You needed to go
Yeah.
find the writers who could make a Batman Year One, who could make a Kingdom Come, who could give all these different art styles that like people started to gravitate to and came back to re-explore these characters that have been around for so long with. But they really, if it just feels like they've had Milestone for so long that the fact that they have not made like a real commitment to making that happen is crazy to me. Like, yeah, the Static Shock comic books was out, but most niggas know Static Shock from a cartoon. How is that not greenlit yet? Why is that? Why has that been taken off of HBO Max?
Right. It's on Tubi.
So, you know, it had great ratings. It will have one of the best ratings for a TV show that did not have any like action figures or toy line attached to it. The success was there, but the investment was not, because it didn't matter to them, because they're not like, you're not black, so you're not seeing little black kids dancing the superhero Static Shock. Your kids are not on the school bus on Monday talking about the Static Shock episode from Saturday, because your kids are all a bunch of little white kids. They might not even ride the school bus. But like the little black kids I grew up with, we was talking about that. And I didn't even know about Milestone Comics and Icon and Power, all that stuff. All I knew was Static Shock, black cartoon character superhero, and it was really good. But somebody has to look up and say, like, this matters, and if this, and we have to be fair about how we assess the value of it, and how much we attach the value of this thing being just to initial money, because you have to also factor in that America hates black people. So some of this kind of stuff takes a minute for them to catch DC up to. Right. But it's like think about like hip hop. The adult white people who were around when hip hop came out hated it. The adult white people who were around when rock and roll and jazz and all that shit was invented, they all hated it. It was jungle music, but their kids loved it. Right. And so it was there to be consumed. Your kids, you might not want to see, or you might not care about these black characters or whatever, but like, it's undeniable who makes what cool. I mean, that's part of the reason I think people move. The comic book aspect thing never really caught on, even when the movies was catching on. Because
right.
What am I going back?
So the point you just made is something that I think is very important to outline. You talked about how when the music came out, like hip hop, especially when hip hop started, parents couldn't stand it. You move forward 10, 15 years. I was at the gas station the other day, and I look over at the guy in the car next to me, and I'm listening to the music that's playing, and it's just like, when I tell you he's just into his song. I think it might have been NBA Youngboy was playing, and I was just, I was low-key kind of watching to see if he was rapping all the lyrics, but he was, nonetheless, he was rapping the song like word for word. Like, this wasn't his first time hearing it. He didn't just turn it on the radio. This is obviously what he listens to. And, I think comics as a medium, first of all, I think it has its own place in history. And if it's utilized properly, could be a gateway into a lot of other things for people. I started reading at a very early age because I thought comic books were cool and always wanted to pick up and read comic books. So I started reading, and the writers didn't write some. As I got older, I noticed that some of the writing was very simple, but there were also books where the writing was not simple. And there were words I didn't know and had to look up because people were writing these stories. But when you present something that people can be comfortable with, that they can enjoy, that they can look at, that they can use, I think it's important, for just like the movie Black Panther was important. I have friends who will tell you their favorite character is Black Panther, and it can be because of the movie. I'm not doing on the gatekeeping on tonight. We're not going to talk about that part. If the movie is why you like Black Panther the most, cool, let it be the movie. But the point is, that's the character that you like the most, and you only got exposure to that character because of this movie. Comics are the same way. When kids go and they look and they're looking in the aisles and they see all these comics, maybe this character has on a mask, maybe he doesn't. But it's also equally important to let that kid choose the comic he wants. And if he sees comics with black characters, who's to say he won't like those comics with the black characters? But if they're not there, he'll never have the opportunity to even see it. So it's always going to be weird when black characters are around, when black characters do end up in the pages, even if it's in the, the team ups and the Justice League and things like that, where they have some crossovers and this and that. It exposure is important, even if it takes time and over generations. My kids can integrate very well. They integrated probably better than I did, and I integrated better than my parents did. And my grandparents, they probably didn't get the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So it was each time it gets a little different. And so I think it's important to have all of the titles available, not just, and I get the part of like companies like DC, comic sales are important, and they, in order for them to do all of the other projects, most of it is kind of based on the beginning stage of that simple print issue comic book. That's where the character foundation is laid and made and created, and that's where the characters originate. And then the character does well, and we might see them on the cartoon, or they'll be featured on this or that. And then because they became a popular character through visibility, now they're here. Because the reason we're getting a Lanterns is not because of what Ryan Reynolds did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that movie isn't what, we got to bring Lanterns back.
But the reason we're getting a Lanterns with an S is because they not about to just let this nigga just be Green Lantern without some white man coming in and being like, this and how you do it, son.
Is that not how they originally sold it too? That we were getting a Green Lantern movie, a John Stewart Green Lantern movie, and now all of a sudden it's Lanterns.
Yeah, when it was first announced, they absolutely made a big deal that John Stewart, Lanterns, John Stewart. And then when we got the first casting announcements, I'll say hi to Prince. When we got the first casting announcements, that's when they announced Kyle Chandler would be coming in playing Hal Jordan. So then it was like,
and they tried to give us a likable white man to ease the blow of the fact that you really
to make it a little less painful.
You're making it a babysitter. Because here's the thing. Everybody loves the Justice League cartoon. I think we've lamented many times on this podcast about why they didn't just follow the formula that the cartoon laid out in terms of the groupings, in terms of the character personalities, in terms of all that. I don't understand why you just wanted to do some weird, dark, negaverse version of the Justice League. But you did it. It failed. Now you kind of trying to fix it. James Gunn still being a little bit weird with some of these selections of how he wants to start this universe, in my opinion. But John Stewart is somebody we know. I don't need no
shout out to Paul Dini for Justice League.
Yeah, I don't need no introduction. I don't need no babysitter. I don't need no training. I don't need no hand holding when it comes to John Stewart. And if I do, guess what? I'll go back and watch the cartoon. Can't really go back and read like a comic book from the modern era, but at least we got the cartoon. Like, we have some form of media where we're introducing these characters and giving them personalities, even giving them 1 or 2 episodes focused on their neighborhood, giving them love interests, multiple throughout the course of the show. You know what I mean? So we actually seeing real character growth, seeing his relationship grow with even like a Wally West, where you know that those personalities are like oil and water, but the show does a good job of explaining and exploring all that. By the time I get to seeing a live action John Stewart on screen, I don't need no help. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm expecting. And what I don't want is to watch this black man spend 8 to 10 episodes trying to prove himself to this white man. That's not the Green Lantern story that I want to watch. Because did that even happen in the comics? I don't believe that is how John Stewart got his ring, by proving himself to some white man.
No. And if nothing else,
I'm about to put the kufi on.
The biggest thing, like the lore with the lanterns, of course, is surrounded more about like the ring makes the choice, the ring chooses. And while I have no problem, I have no issue with Hal Jordan and John Stewart teaming up, but I don't like the way it's being presented, as because it's not even really coming off as a passing the torch. It's coming off on, I'm qualifying you to see if you can.
You're gonna have to pry this ring off my cold dead hand.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're gonna have to dig my body up for this ring.
They could even do a story if they want to just be different and throw some controversy out there. Duke it out to see who's going to remain the lantern of sector whatever that Earth is in. You know?
Okay, then the show over episode 1, because you're not about to have me believing Kyle Chandler finna beat up Mufasa.
No.
It's not happening. It's not happening, bro. I don't want to hear none of this. I don't want to hear this sneaky white man strength. And no, bro. We already seen Aaron Pierre do the Don Johnson and Rebel Ridge. Okay, that was the audition. That was all the hand holding and introductions that was the introduction we needed.
Yeah,
and we got it. So like, give this man the ring and get the fuck out the way, bro.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's like I can only hope that everything we've seen so far that involves Kyle Chandler will be more towards the beginning of the series, and maybe mid-series they'll do the transition.
Hey, Sam, you got way more faith in white people than I do.
Yeah,
it's not even about it,
because from what I've seen, I you can't.
That nigga gonna be there every day.
Exactly, that we're gonna get rid of him. I mean, it's looking, from what I've seen, it's looking mighty.
Will it make it? And I believe that's definitely how it's gonna play out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I make no reservations about how the show is actually gonna come out.
This was gonna happen. This was gonna happen. Hal Jordan gonna babysit
that small
him
part that says I have to wait
through the first. All through the first. If it's 8 episodes, Hal Jordan gonna babysit him through 8.75 of the episode. Then he gonna die, and Aaron Pierre gonna get the ring. Then Guy Gardner gonna show up.
Oh wow! No, I feel like truthfully, I think they'll drop him in. They'll drop him in early. I think he'll be episode 5 or so while they're on Earth. I think that's when we're gonna see Guy.
Hey, they trying to pick likable white men to put in them babysitter roles.
All I know
Castle and Coach. What's the name? Right, it's lanterns, and you showing me a lantern that we already know and don't really supposed to be working at the same time as. Yeah, it is. DC has always felt weird to me like that, though. It just always has. It's like they make some good comics, they tell some good stories.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, the heart of the company is not focused on equity or inclusion or anything. Like, they ain't have to give up no programs. It was like, oh, we just keep what we do, keep doing what we're doing.
Right. They were good.
It's another day for us. Like, that's the thing with, like, that's why everything with Marvel is so volatile. Like, even when you look at, like, the crazy fans who complain, right? The crazy fans who complain about Marvel stuff, they be making some arguments about, like, maybe some of the quality of some of the movies. And I think a lot of that is still confined to, like, a very small period of time where Kevin Feige was not in control. But the crazy people who latch on to trying to make Marvel movies do bad, they they talk about, you know, the ideologies of the actors, and Brie Larson hates men, and so they're doing it because they're butthurt, but it's nothing to do with the actual like content or the decisions that Marvel is making in terms of storytelling. When people complain about DC, it's like ideology wars about who made the best. Like the Snyder cult is still like alive and thriving down in like the undergirds of the internet.
Right, you're gonna
The
step on
people
me.
who There's people who, you know, are so anti Snyder that they don't want to like whisper nothing bad about James Gunn, and like we just all supposed to pretend like we
Everything
supposed to
James Gunn is
pretend.
doing is perfect.
Right,
Peacemaker's the greatest thing ever if we don't get any more
right,
Snyderverse.
right, right.
And
So I think like that just comes
any
down
kind of
to,
extremism is bad.
yeah, for sure,
Any kind of extremism.
for
You
sure.
have to be willing to, you know, be critical of all media at any point. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to say this is good, that was bad, this could have been better, and not just blindly accept that. Well, if it's not Snyderverse, it's got to be great, because that's not the case.
No, he might suck too, and that's what I was saying when I was talking about like the choices he was making. Like he coming real avant garde, and some of it kind of works, but like because of the groundswell of energy you're coming in against you already, because so many people feel like Zack Snyder got a raw deal from DC. And in some ways, to be fair, I can, even though I hated everything he did at DC, I can be fair and say he got a raw deal because they asked him to do in 4 movies what Marvel did in 20. And nobody was going to really be able to pull that off quite the right way, under those parameters.
Yeah.
But he took the job, he took the money. That means you got to take the critique as well. That's just how art and that's how business works.
Yeah.
So
And to that point, I'm gonna keep saying this because I was really happy and excited. But I got a chance to talk to Paul Dini when I was at MomoCon, and have an interview with him. Be looking for that. It's going to be posted very soon. But I got a chance to talk to Paul Dini, and you know, I was kind of telling him, like, as a DC fan, having grown up, my favorite character being Superman, I appreciate what we got from, you know, what Batman the animated series did for animated and cartoons in general, especially for like superhero cartoons. I appreciated what Superman animated series did for the character of Superman, because that's the character most people associate with. And the world they built with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited included John Stewart. And that's where most people are going to be familiar with John Stewart, like you mentioned. And so one of the things that Paul Dini had said was that he would never take a job where he had to reinvent these characters. You have these characters who are so well written and established, and you know, the specific example he gave was Superman, and I could pick out what he was saying without saying it directly, but he was like, somebody wants to come in and try to, you know, rewrite these characters and do something totally left field with these characters, and that's the job I'd never take. So yeah,
mhm.
for all of the good, all of the bad, regardless of how you feel about the situation, Zack Snyder chose to take that on. Like, he had the, I don't know if it was the arrogance or the confidence or what, but he thought he was going to do something just phenomenal in such a short time without having the proper setup. And even to the point where, like we said, the Flash movie doing Flashpoint, it was all too quick. It was all too quick. And it,
He was acting like his woman has given him the divorce papers, and now you picking up your clothes off the floor. Now you cooking dinner and buying flowers, brother. She has a lawyer. She's ready to leave.
you've been
You know what I'm
served with
saying?
papers.
This is your last movie, and now now it just felt like you went in a DC closet and was like, I'm gonna just take all the best stories. I'm gonna just fuck them up. No, if I can't do it, nobody can do it. It's like, bro, You should have seen from the success and the how people felt about all the movies you had done up until that point. Even Batman v Superman, way too fast. But take a classic story, get it to screen before anybody else does it. Now we're talking about the novelty of seeing them fight on screen, but the movie's not good. And it's a shame that the first instance of those two characters fighting or working together really on the big screen is in that
Train wreck.
universe. Not even just the movie, the universe.
Yeah.
Like none of it makes sense. And like I said, it was an impossible task, but you signed up for it. You thought you could do it. And so now I have to be able to be like, you didn't do it.
You got to take that one.
You did not do it. And you indeed did not. And that's okay. Like, you have your strengths. Like, if we wanted to look cool, hey man, come on through. But while we writing these words on the paper, and while we trying to figure out how to get from point A to B, go ahead, man. Hey, take a personal day, take a family day. You and your kid go get some ice cream. Go to the dog park.
I know you don't mean it like that, but part of why he's even off of Justice League was he can take a personal day, him and the wife, but he can't take a day with the kids, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. I forgot all about that. I don't be.
I know you do.
I don't.
Yeah, I know you
no,
do.
No.
I just want to be clear why we kind of shitting on DC that wasn't a personal attack. I know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Didn't mean it that way.
Never that. Because I'm not even invested enough in him to even remember that. Like I wasn't paying attention to any of that scandal going on. Because I was just like, when are we gonna get somebody in here who can make some good movies? And it was like Marvel was on a tear. I was still at Mad Engine. Star Wars was on a tear. So I had enough content that I actually had to focus on. So where it's like
good geek content was out.
Like whenever y'all ready to stop fucking up, I'll come back over here and see what y'all got going on. But for right now, I don't feel the need to waste my time on Aquaman 2.
And what's crazy is that was actually a rare instance of like having Black Mantis in those movies. I think only improved the movies by having at least somebody competent on set. And I think once Jason Momoa, I'm really curious, honestly, to see how Jason Momoa does as Lobo, because I feel like that might be a little bit more fitting for his character.
He's finna do the same thing he did as Aquaman, but with the makeup on.
Right, but now it'll make sense. Now it'll fit. That's what I'm saying. I'm curious to see how it's gonna work.
It's gonna be amazing.
Right, because the context is in place.
No Jason bashing.
I watched that movie.
But that's my whole point. He was playing Lobo as Aquaman.
Shut up.
The whole time.
That was dude bro Aquaman all the way. And that's why it was like it just felt so out of place and it was so weird. So when we got to the Aquaman movie, now that we've kind of established who this Aquaman character is and whatnot, it was just going to be an entire movie of like, hey, yeah. Thank God we have Black Manta to actually put some depth and some acting on screen and like.
Well, you know what? At least it wasn't Batman. I'm so fucking sick of Batman.
Hey, he's coming back.
Hey,
I know he's coming back, and I'm like,
no,
why?
The Batman is coming back. It's different.
I'm tired of Batman. Real. It's like they don't have anybody. It's like it's not DC. It's BC, Batman Central. It's like they don't have anybody else. I mean, I can kind of get the obsession with Superman.
Yes.
But I'm just sick of Batman. How many Batmans and Jokers and Penguins do we really need?
Batman,
3 Penguins.
Batman and the Joker represent the duality of the psyche of the white man.
Okay.
That's why they're all obsessed with exploring them. They
It's a
want
power
to.
fantasy.
They
I
want to
mean,
impact the world. The
to be
only
a
way they know how to
billionaire
do it is by
and do what you
force.
want.
Well, then they
And
can't be surprised when they don't have a Black Panther phenomenon. They can't be surprised, because even a damn Batman fan, there's not as many Batman fans who are going to keep going to see these repeated movies as there are, Black Panther fans and people who weren't fans before but are intrigued by something new.
Yeah.
Something different, something that looks like them.
Yeah.
You can't expect anything to change doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
If you always do what you always done, you always get what you always
get
got.
what you always got.
I mean,
The
I
definition of
Batman.
insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
I think what you said about the quote about like not reinventing the characters was interesting, because I think that is the reason why so many people are attracted to DC, because those characters in a way have been reinvented multiple times, but they've been reinvented multiple times over such a long period of time that has been able to be like melted down into like, okay, we'll pull this core element from this person, this from that writer, this from that writer, this from that writer, and smush it together. But now I feel like with a lot of the directors and people who, especially with the people who are obsessed with like the different Batman people and all that, they're going back and they're like, okay, well, I know you guys pulled these elements across the writers, but what if you pull these elements, like a whole new set of elements that at some point in time were attributed to Batman, but it's not the combination of things that led us to the animated series. So, like in the Batman the animated series, growing up as a kid, I never really associated like Bruce Wayne as being like crazy. You know what I mean? Like he seemed like in the episodes where it was like Bruce Wayne has to go to a gala, even in the Michael Keaton movies, even in the like the all the Jerry Bruckheimer and the what's the white dude name that made the first two? Tim Burton. That first era of Batman movies, Bruce Wayne knew how to operate in public. And then Batman, so it never felt like this crazy delusion thing. And right. I'm just man, I'm sitting around being Bruce Wayne where I could be out being Batman. At some point, that got reintroduced into the character.
Yeah.
Because somebody decided anybody who would dress up as a bat is a psycho. So let's play into that more. Let's play into the fact that he never wants to take the bat suit off. So now he's uncomfortable at board meetings. The company's slipping away from him. He's not doing
Bruce
the Playboy.
Wayne is the mask.
And it's just like, bruh,
Batman is who he really is. Yeah.
The whole point of Batman as the character is, in my opinion, his ability to move through all these worlds and have all the resources that he needs. He used to go to a gala to get a clue as Bruce Wayne that he could use as Batman. But now you're making the character where it's like the Bruce Wayne element. He sees the Bruce Wayne element of his life outside of the money as completely useless. And if he could walk around all day, every day as Batman, he would. But it's like, that's not the same thing as Superman. Like Superman's real persona of Clark Kent is a mask. Bruce Wayne is still like, this nigga grew up as Bruce Wayne most of his life.
Right.
He ain't get them karate powers and all that stuff until he had to grow up and get all that. He got it as Bruce Wayne, and that allowed him to become Batman. So enough of this like, oh, Bruce Wayne is really Batman and Bruce Wayne is the mask. No, it's not. Use them equally.
Yeah.
You can't be a good detective and you walking around dressed up like a bat all day, nigga. Like, so all the daytime clues is what?
What daytime clues? I can only find it at night.
exactly.
No, but I mean that's a valid point because, and again, that was something that you got a chance to see in Batman the animated series, in those original movies and things like that. You know, the first time he ran into the Joker was when he was at Vicky Vale's house, and the Joker comes waltzing in, and he
Yeah.
reaches over, grabs a fire poker, and the little tray protects. That's
Like,
where
bro,
the
I don't
stuff
want to
takes
see
place.
I don't want to see no more Batman movies without a gala.
At least one.
And I don't want to see him pouting and huffing and puffing because he got to be there and dance with a girl. Batman like girls, and not just criminal ones.
Right. Not just like he needs as much time with Vicky Vale as he has with Catwoman. Now, don't get me wrong, between Vicky Vale and Selena Kyle, I get it. But
Hey,
it's like I get it.
the game is the game.
I get it. But it's still like other sides to it. And when you only show the one side, it does start to get a little skewed in the it starts to kind of teeter on the insanity of consistency of it's just always like this. And it's not the case. I mean, the characters really are a little more diverse. And that's why, and again, it is that diversity that exists. It's you need the exposure to these other characters. You know what I'm saying? We need characters like Joe Mullen to be out there. She's the Far Sector Green Lantern, and you know what I'm saying? She looks like Janelle Monáe. And why that didn't do way better. You know what I'm saying? And like there's the rumor mill right now is that Vixen is about to spearhead some things and be the one in the forefront. And if some of the tweets are to be believed, Eisner nominated writer Stephanie Williams has some projects in the pipeline. And I mean, it's great that these things are coming, but these things are so long overdue. And it's
just the fact that you can look at your
it.
whole lineup and not see any black led titles and just be like, it not raise any red flag until like a customer points it out. You know what I'm saying? Like there used to be people whose job it was to think about stuff like that. I'll give you an example. The character Bishop was created by Wills Portacio. He's Filipino. Bishop was originally supposed to be Filipino. And Marvel asked for them to change him to be a black man because they thought that they understood that black kids needed to see black superheroes in the comic books if they wanted black. It was literally the reason why my grandmother allowed me to buy that comic book, the first appearance of Bishop, because it was a black man on the cover of the magazine. If it was a Filipino, we might be on a whole different trajectory of life right now.
No, I could absolutely understand it because I could easily see. So and I'm dating myself a little bit, but like I never had any Thundercat toys. Although in retrospect, I probably could have gotten one if that would have been the one that I wanted. Of course, I always want the hero, the main character. I didn't know any better. And while Panthro was cool,
dude. You want a lion,
I wanted the main character. That's what I wanted. I was a kid. I ain't know no different. Now I'm a little older. I can understand. I can appreciate. But it's also the thing that stands out to me. Like the G.I. Joe figures I had, I wasn't like a fan of like Duke. Flint was pretty cool, but that was only because he had the cool hat. Snake Eyes was my guy. Like, who didn't love Snake Eyes? Snake Eyes was okay because he had a mask on, and Snake Eyes could be black. You see, but the first G.I. Joe figures I got were Roadblock, Doc, and Stalker. I had all three of those characters, and each of those are black characters. And I couldn't appreciate it at the time because I wanted these other ones, but these were the ones that my dad got me. Silverhawks. I wanted the big, strong guy, Steel Whip. And I ended up with Hot Wing. And shame on Silverhawks for the one black character's name being Hot Wing.
Hot Wing.
And wait a minute. And It gets worse. He's a magician.
Okay.
So we got a magical Negro named Hot Wing. flying around in space. He's bronze, no, like gold and red. His trim is red. His outfit is gold. All the other Silverhawks are like silver, blue
Silver.
metallic, and you know what I'm saying, and steel colored. He comes in here bling bling in gold with red trim and stuff.
You
And his
said it
name's
gets
Hot
worse. I
Wing.
thought you were gonna say you had a sidekick named Lemon Pepper.
Oh wow.
Uh,
I don't think lemon pepper was a
little
flavor at the
puppy.
time. They ain't know nothing about that. Um but yeah, it's like it was a very long time before I acknowledged that there was a, you know, it was just like for me, it was these were the characters that I liked, that I knew, that I grew up with, and these were the preference. And so that's why I said, like, for me, it's still conflicting interest, because I'm at a point now where, as an adult, I recognize the importance and the need for proper representation in all forms of media. We need more black characters in comics. And while I'm 100% in support of the independence and all of the characters who have come out of independent black owned comics, it's equally important for the popular mainstream titles to be on board with this as well. And it is so
Especially
that
because the business model is for bigger companies to buy independent companies. So we don't need another black company in the same position that Milestone is in right now, where they gotta wait for whatever boss man DC say we can do, then we can
right.
do it. But hey man, people didn't like the last Superman movie, so we gotta push our whole timeline back. We might not see a Static Shock movie till 2032, and that depends on how this Batman does. How it's like, what the fuck do that got to do with Static Shock? He
Right.
not even in their world. Pretend he not nowhere near them, just like you have been doing for all these years. Because if we supposed to be in the universe, I ain't heard about nobody going to Dakota City yet. We've been to Star Labs.
Not
We've
yet.
been to Century City, whatever the synonym
Central
city.
City for the
Yeah,
Flash.
whatever the name of the city is. We've been everywhere. We
Hell, I
like
didn't even know
Johnny
where Arrow
Cash. We've
take
been
place.
everywhere, man, except Dakota.
Yeah, and it is imperative that they take the lead, because and it's more than just, I want some of these independent studios to, you know, maintain their independence so they can write the characters the way they want and they can have the freedom to do. I don't want them to be absorbed under these. Now, if that's their desire and their wish, they want DC to buy their character, and by all means, you know, I wish them the best. Don't get me wrong. But I want them to have the freedom to write the characters the way they've been writing the characters that got them to the level they are, in the notoriety and the popularity that they have. Um, but it takes DC, it takes Marvel, it takes the bigger companies that have the visibility, that have the recognition. Because even if, you know, auntie, grandma, whoever, you know what I'm saying, that family member that doesn't read comics, they know what DC Comics is. They know what Marvel Comics is. When they think of comics, or you say comics, they're thinking DC or Marvel. You know, they know Superman, they know Batman. So,
But they didn't know Black Panther.
correct. And it took a big name, Marvel, to bring that character out. And I do think that we will get.
Nah,
I'm very
man,
hopeful.
please don't let these saltines off the hook, man.
No, no, no.
They
Yeah.
gotta
I'm
do
not
You
it.
letting
think
They
off the
gotta
we'll
hook.
get
do it.
what? Because I hope you're not gonna say you think we'll get a Black Panther level anything from DC.
Oh no, no. They've gone as long as, I mean, hell, they went 1,200 days without having a comic. So in a sense, it's almost like they don't care there. But I do think the success of the show Lanterns will play, unfortunately, that'll be a major deciding factor of how DC moves forward with characters like that.
Which is stupid because it's a show about one black man in a town full of white people.
Right.
Yeah, trying to watch that shit.
I'm very aware.
Like
as
a comic book fan, I'm watching it because I'm a comic book guy. But like,
right.
if I come in and I'm like, oh yeah, the show about the Black Green Lantern on, and we turn it on, this motherfucker at the state fair eating briskets and corn dogs with Peggy Sue in them. I'm like, what is this?
Right.
Why we have his black show, but this show about a black superhero, and he not even
being black. Being black.
And if that's the case, if they are, if the like introduction or the featuring of black characters depends on the success of this show, then they're showing their hand already. They're setting it up to fail because it's not a black character driven show.
Correct.
And they're already turning, like Jeffrey said, they're already turning a lot of fans off by promising us a black led show and giving us a buddy cop.
Yeah. And just the fact that he's there with a babysitter. I mean, and I have hopes, but the track record does not support what I hope. I'll say that. What DC has put out in the past does not make me think that is how it will go. I can just lean on the fact that I haven't seen it. It hasn't come out yet. And until I see it, I don't know what it will be. But I do think
they put more
the
time
star power.
Go ahead, my bad.
I was about to say, I do think and honestly hope that the star power that Aaron Pierre is building will be enough to make his character stand out on the show and get the praise and notoriety that is necessary to support success for that character. And, like it's because they're not still writing it. It's not something that they're, it's not a sitcom. So it's not like, 3-4 episodes in, they can go back and change because the people tuned in and we saw, so now we're going to go this direction, where they have the characters who were supposed to be on 1 or 2 episode guest stars. And because they did so well, they kept bringing them back. Now it's a series regular. And now that's why people watch the show. That's not the case. The show is done, completed, and what's there is there. So if they didn't already write it that way, then it's already written, it's already done, it's already filmed. I can only hope that given the success of something like Watchmen, which was on HBO, came out of DC, it can be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be done. And I hope. That's all I can do. I can hope that this will be the start of a turnaround, and that coming up, despite it taking so many days to get to this point, despite it being more than 1,200 days, that there will be some strong Black character-led individual titles. We have the talent out there. They've employed the writers in the past. I'm sorry, sir. I did see a comment. Let me get that up there. And yeah, the key word there being truly Black-led. Yeah, I mean, we
will spend so much time just exploring the hell out of every Batman motherfucker who stood on the corner and watched Batman beat somebody up. Now we got a whole understanding of that person's like inner psyche and working. And you telling me we can't explore any of the black characters for what reason. It's a thing of willingness. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even with this, right? Okay, we so Vixen's gonna do something. So now it's gonna be one, and all the and then it. So let's say you don't. Let's say the Vixen one is a. It could be a plethora of things.
Right.
It could be a story about her being a model, traveling the world, helping people on the low. It could be a story about her on the team or whatever, right? But we know comics have like subgenres and styles to them too. So if you're a black comic reader, now we get put in a position where it's like, well, we just got to buy any and everything black, and then we
Right.
don't get to the place where it's like, well, can we give fair critique of it? Because I don't want to necessarily come out and speak poorly of something in the open, because they'll be like, well, see, black people, we did a black comic, the black people didn't like it. That's that on that. More Batman, please. Condiment
Right.
King series, please. Like, just
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate reality that I think we're looking at with Lanterns here, that so much weight is being put on the success of that for future projects, and it's not fair, and it is just proper misrepresentation as a whole, because it's like if they had enough titles in all forms of media, if they had the Milestone line running currently and nobody was buying it, okay, fine. But let's look at every title you do have running and look at the sales for those, because it's not like everything you got is selling out. That's why y'all keep changing the continuity every 12 issues, because you just throwing shit out there trying to see what sticks. And there's a whole new Superman story where Jor-El has come to Earth. It's a Outworld story, or not Outworld, but a
Elseworlds.
Elseworlds. Thank you. It's an Elseworld story, but we've already seen Batman where Thomas Wayne was Batman. So now they're doing it with Superman, where Jor-El comes to Earth in place of Clark. How you managed to be in the ship without your wife and baby is crazy, but okay. Uh, like you gotta explain that one. But it's like they're, again, another opportunity where even as a fan, I'm like, instead of doing that story, you could have taken any one of these characters and given them the same treatment, revise their story, give them an Elseworld, give them a solo title, and let them run with that. Because I don't think enough people know Jor-El to support this new Superman. And that's coming from a Superman fan. I mean, the whole Absolute series, they did that. Right before that, they did the He Who Laughs and the Dark Metal series. And they keep changing, and they keep going with these little mini series rather than just listen to the people and bring the writers in and tell the stories that are being asked for. Make the good stuff and put the same time, energy, and effort into those comics. Like
As
if you
you
do a
do
Static
making
Shock,
some new shit up about Batman or Superman.
right? Like, take the time to deep dive into the Bang Babies in Dakota, and those, because I mean, hell, every time you turn around, they had a Creature of the Week story with that, because everybody had power. So you can make all the new characters you want right there. It's available. So I don't know. I'm, again, conflicting interest, because I'm a lifelong DC fan. Superman has always been my favorite character, and yet the gross negligence of DC to not represent their characters uniformly and have the required diversity, and to honestly just take care of all of their fans. They keep catering to the same people over and over and over. And I'll admit, even now, I'm at the point where I've gotten more into the independent comics. A lot of I still buy the graphic novels here and there when I see them, trying to steady out my collection. But these days, I am more interested in new stories. I am more interested in individual comics. And we just gonna shout out the homie Greg Burnham. Every time I see him, there's a new comic. He's is it Eisner?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Eisner Award? Recipient. Like he's got an Eisner Award nomination for his series. Which
it's for his for Noir is the New Black.
Noir is the New Black.
Anthology.
I was about to say Black Noir, and I'm like, that ain't it. That's the boys.
Well, you had all the words.
Right. I had the words. I'm like,
order.
Okay, right. But you know what I'm saying? Like the work he's done, the writing he's done, and then Marcus Williams, Impound Comics. There are a number of stories out there. Search
Rule
for
of Three
Sadiqa.
Comics. I gotta shout them
Rule
out.
3, yes, your homie. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's out there. And I'm very much in support of supporting the Black independent artists and the Black independent comics that are out there. And in favor of, I no longer have my DC subscription service. And that's just because they kept taking off everything that I actually wanted to read. So I don't need to be paying the money for this because I don't care about some of this new stuff. The few things that I've wanted to read that are through DC, I still get through my Amazon Prime membership. And I just, check out a graphic novel here and there, a book here and there. And as long as my wife keeps shopping, we probably gonna have Prime, so I have access that way. But past that, I'm really just about trying to get these comic pulls at these independent stores and these independent venues. And I know, Teresa, you've jumped on a lot of Kickstarters.
Yeah. I don't know how that pull list thing works, and yet I'm still a newbie, but I feel like I can follow the indie creators better because of the Kickstarters and in the groups, like they post their links where I can get those from. So I'm still trying to figure that pull list thing out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the short version of that is just like, when new issues drop, we'll say, whether it be weekly or every 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, you pick like 4 or 5 series that you're following. And when that week comes, you pick up issue number 3, issue number 2, issue number 5. The same way you might sit and watch all your anime. See, now I can talk about your anime. When your new episode of your anime drops, and the new TV show that you're watching, the new episode of that drops. And, so it's like you may have 4 or 5 different shows that you're watching together. And the new episode on Tuesday, a new episode on Wednesday, new episode on Thursday. And then Sunday, you watch these 2 shows because even though they aired Monday, you just wait and watch them on Sunday. That would be your pull list for the week.
Gotcha.
And so you would go in, you would get all your new issues, and then you would have that. And some people who are just like, the big comic people, they follow every new issue. You know what I'm saying? If DC ridiculously has like 15 ongoing titles currently in the current continuity, they'll pick up all 15. 4 of those might be Batman. 3 of them are Supermans. That kind of thing.
None of them will be black.
And the worst part is, it's not that they haven't ever done it. They just haven't done it with the consistency that keeps them out of the hot seat.
Because like at the end of the day, who, and I guess you could ask. Well, no, you can't ask about Marvel because Marvel is Black Panther. Who would you say is the premier DC Black hero?
Premier, it's got to be Jon Stewart.
And see, he need a chaperone. So what we doing?
And the thing is, he don't need a chaperone. That's the crazy part. And if
I'm saying they think he need a chaperone.
No,
because okay, even if you compare it to like Black Panther in the MCU, right? Black Panther was introduced in Civil War, but he wasn't introduced as a like, oh, we got to make sure. Like he came in with his own agenda. He was a fully realized character and a person, and everybody had to adjust to him and how he came in. He wasn't trying to, oh, I'm trying to prove myself to the Avengers. He didn't give a fuck about none of that. Like, this man killed my daddy. I'm going to work. And you better move your little red-haired girl out of here before I get my Dora Milaje to start getting active.
As much as I would like to see that would not be necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
So we say Jon Stewart is the premier DC superhero. I'm assuming really it's only because of the Justice League cartoon that really sets
it's only
apart.
Because of, I mean, admittedly, it's going to be because of notoriety.
Yeah. The that notoriety being from Justice League cartoon versus versus a comic book. So I and even in that, it's like, what billing would you give him on that show? Fourth at the highest, probably Stewart? Fifth, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Fifth.
The only people behind him on that show in terms of notoriety and like I would say, no, you can't say fourth. You're not putting him in front of the Flash. You can't put Jon Stewart in front of the Flash. Okay. It would be Hawk Girl and Martian Manhunter would be the only people like behind him.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like look at how little development you've done on this character. What city is Jon Stewart from?
He's from New York.
He's from New York. So he the only motherfucker from a real city.
Oddly enough.
They couldn't even think of a fake DC city for him.
Let's see if there is anything. Let's see. Jon Stewart, Cartoon Network. There we go. Let's see if they have a spot where he's actually from. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what was that city he went back to? Harlem? They definitely presented it like it was New York.
That was Harlem.
Harlem.
Yeah. From Detroit, Michigan. Damn, that's even blacker.
Like
in the comics, at least. Yeah, in the comics it say he's from Detroit. So that's the kind of thing where it's like when you look at like the care and the lack of care that has been placed, those are the types of things where you really start being able to make good arguments against DC. Like you can't just pretend like you don't understand this. Like y'all didn't even care enough to like give this man his own fake city. Y'all was like, we just make this nigga from Detroit. Call it a day.
Yeah.
So I hope they get it together. I have low expectations of DC pretty much across the board. Unless it's about some crazy white man, then they get that right. But other than that, freedom milestone universe.
Yeah. I don't think the world's ready for an icon. That Hancock was about as close as we gonna get to see an icon. And if that had been anybody other than Will Smith,
there's shit to bed if Jonathan Majors come through as icon.
Love to see it.
Hey,
You know what? That actually works
bring
because
his
I
crazy
think,
ass right on back for that role. To the fire.
well, you know, he with that civil rights nose, it works out for him, especially considering when that alien landed.
Oh yeah.
Let's see other news. So, Streets of Rage, the video game from Sega, the side-scrolling beat 'em up, is getting a movie, and James Samuel, who did Book of Clarence, and what was his other movie? Um, James Samuels. I know one of them was Book of Clarence. Oh, The Harder They Fall. See, and it was just because you said Jonathan Majors. That should have. But but yeah, the like that. Yeah, actually, I gotta give Jeff credit for that when he first talked about Jonathan Majors that civil rights nose. But yeah, James Samuels, Bullets, British filmmaker, singer-songwriter, music producer, composer. He was, let's see, got the 2021 BAFTA award.
So he finna come over here and make a
Directorial.
Well, they be stabbing people up on the street over there, so I'm gonna chill out. He know they be doing.
You might
they
know
be doing
Streets of Rage
for real, for real.
Well, more importantly, James Samuels is 46 years old, so this might be the franchise like he grew up with.
Oh yeah,
you know there are 4 Streets of Rage video games, and it's got its own little story that's kind of like self-contained, with Mr. Big, and you got a
Mr. X.
Mr. X. Yeah, Mr. Big was in which game is that?
I did a quick fan cast it too.
Oh, you already
together. Just threw something together if you want me to.
Look at that. You know what? Let me hold on here, because I know I had thrown it out there. We're gonna switch it up real quick. This is a live show, but ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do a quick fan cast it. Since you got it, let me hear it. All right. First of all, let's go through the characters that you have for Streets of Rage.
So I did Adam Hunter, Axel Stone,
okay,
Blaze Felding, Eddie Skate Hunter, Max Thunderman, and Mr. X. So the first 5 are like basically the people you can play with in the first 2 games. Cause we're gonna get Skate. We're gonna get Skate in here.
We got to get Skate in there.
We're not waiting for no. We might not get a 2.
Taking no chances.
Sega might move like DC.
Okay, I'm just trying to highlight real quick the people you said so I can grab one of my 50,000 notebooks right here. I have gotten a lot better at organizing my notebooks, so they're all at my desk, at my drawer. Yay, doing well. Okay, so you said, because I could probably do one of these. It won't be as good because it. You know what? And it's crazy because I'm even looking here and talking about some of the video game adaptations. We mentioned Streets of Rage. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah.
We did an episode. We were talking about video game adaptations, and Streets of Rage was one that came up.
Yeah, we got to go back and clip some of them other ones that was on early live shows. Because I know we did like the one. I think the one we did for Metroid was good too.
Yeah. What video games IP we wanted to see as live action? Live action discussion video. Yeah, that was. Look at that.
What other games is on that list?
We have. Let's see. I keep these notepads semi-organized. We have Streets of Rage, Splinter Cell, Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls falls into the fantasy. We've got plenty of stuff that's like that, so we don't really need that one, in my opinion. Ghost of Tsushima, Street Fighter, Mario, Tomb Raider. I have those circled. I think that's because those are some that already exist. Um, Arcane, Fallout, Mortal Kombat. That's also circled. Probably again ones that exist. Silent Hill and Castlevania. So those must have been, we were talking about things that were already there. We got Twisted Metal, Sonic 2, Super Mario. Yeah. So I think the ones that we have listed, ones we wanted to see were Streets of Rage, Splinter Cell, and Elder Scrolls. At least that looks like that might have been from my list. And I got to start dating these pages too, because then I could go back and find that episode that we talked about that. But this is the idea book. So I only write it here when we're talking about ideas. In fact, I really do need to grab a different notebook because I need to do my working notebook, not my idea book. Different notebooks for different tasks.
Right.
That is the ADHD corruption taking over.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never have to write my notes or stuff that we're going to talk about. I have to write it in different notebooks based on what it is. Okay, so you said Axel, Eddie,
Adam Hunter, Axel
Adam
Stone,
Hunter,
Blaze Felding, Eddie Skate Hunter, Max Thunderman, and Mr. X.
No, I missed somebody. So we got Axel, Blaze, Skate. You said Adam Hunter, right?
Yep.
Mr. Thunderman and Mr. X. All right. All right. I am curious. Okay, so I'll let you start with whichever characters you are interested in the most. Part of me is like, well, I guess you got to start with the main characters. Let's start with the two that you get to use in the first two games. So that would be what, Axel and Adam?
Yep. Adam Hunter.
So who?
I got Jesse T. Usher. Is A-Train from The Boys.
Really?
Yeah.
Adam Hunter. Okay.
And then for Axel Stone, I got Scott Eastwood.
Oh, they like really kicking some ass.
Yeah. No, we getting
okay.
active. We getting active.
Okay.
And then for Blaze Felding, I picked Alexa Demi. She's the Latina girl from Euphoria. She beating people up in that shit. And then for Eddie Skate Hunter, I put Isaiah Russell Bailey. He a young black actor. He was on that show on Netflix, Family Reunion. He played like one of the sons on there. But he's a dancer, so I know he's coordinated. So I know he can learn how to skate if he don't skate already. And you know, he can learn the fight choreography because it's just dance choreography anyway. And I feel like he would be a good look for like a little brother for Jesse T. Usher. For Max Thunderman, I just picked Braun Strowman. I was like, let me find a hairy wrestler and throw him in there.
Okay.
And for Mr. X, I picked Jason Statham.
Ooh. I like that.
We gotta be fighting. Like we gotta be fighting in this. And you can I was thinking, you know, about a lot of different actors where it'd be like, oh, it might be kind of funny if it's this person, that person, like a John C. Reilly or something like that. But I'm like, nah, man, this whole game is just fighting from top to bottom, and the person we
Oh, yeah.
fight at the end need to be one of the best fighters. So
Yeah.
you know, we can. He already got the little cul-de-sac. We just got to put some little mullet extensions on it, and he ready to go.
He'd do a hairpiece. So Jason Statham go ahead and get in full costume for something.
Right.
Let's see. That's not who I thought that was. You said Isaiah.
Isaiah Russell
Okay.
Bailey.
Let's see him. Okay. Looking at a few of the pictures of him here, and it's like, yeah, he looks like a kid that would run around with some inline skates on all the time.
Right.
For no random reason.
I forgot it was timed.
But then also looking at some of these others, and I'm like, okay, bro, I see you. But yeah, I see what you're saying as far as like the dance background and stuff.
I was close to picking Glenn Powell for Axel Stone, but I've decided I'm not really into that dude like that. It's just I don't know.
No, he
tried.
would work if they go with like
if it was like humor.
He not that funny to me though.
I know he corny.
He looked funny, but I think if Glenn Powell was just an actor, he'd be okay. But the fact that he's supposed to be the it actor is what makes me not like him. Because I just don't see the appeal. Like he was good in Maverick. I liked him as the character he played in Maverick. I did not care for him being the lead in The Running Man.
Yeah, man.
I genuinely feel like anybody else could have done just as good a job as he did.
I would have rather seen the black dude. Was that the dude from All American?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'd rather see him do the Running Man challenge, and not the dance. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's this thing of like, y'all pushed him, y'all found a little realm where he kind of works, and it's the action movies that like your girl will go see too.
Right.
It's not the action movies where it's just like the dudes. It's like Twister, where it's like this is action, but it's because we trying to get away from some shit, not because we like fighting people. And so I can't have him in my Streets of Rage movie messing it up.
What you trying to say about the action movies that the girls will go see too?
There are women who love action movies.
I like action movies.
I know, but there's a lot of times where we be having to convince, like, babe, no. In certain relationships, I think people have had to convince different things. It's like there's rom-coms that dudes will see. Like I think about Boomerang like that, right? Because it's a rom-com, but it is largely from a man's perspective.
You got Halle Berry, and I'll go see this.
Yeah, that's way different. That's way different than You've Got Mail, which is completely from like mostly from Meg Ryan's perspective, and we doing a lot of crazy irrational stuff.
That's a chick flick.
Yeah, no, me and my wife watched it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's a chick flick, and I wouldn't even go see that because of how much of a chick flick it is.
It was absolutely psycho.
Let's see. So, got a couple people there. I'm not even going to recast everything. I just have a couple of characters that I would probably change. For Skate, I'll actually like Isaac Brown. The Booker from Raven's Home.
I think Isaac Brown is like 6'3".
Okay, how tall is Jesse T. Usher?
Not that
Is
tall.
he really that tall?
He got tall, bro. Like on the last few seasons of Ravens Home, he's like the tallest person on the show.
He did get
Well,
tall.
everybody on the show was short, so that don't really count. He can't be
He's
that tall.
He 5'9".
Okay, in Hollywood, that is like 6'3". I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But I think just in terms of look, I think now he looks like Jesse T. Usher.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that would work a little closer.
But he gonna be 5'9" and he gonna be on skates. Jesse T. Usher
Jesse T.
6'1",
Usher is 6'1".
but 5'9" plus the skates, they gonna be eye to eye.
It could still be his little brother. It's not his kid. It leaves room. That was okay. I didn't realize Isaac Brown was that damn tall. Okay, there's that part. I didn't like. And yes, he is supposed to be very short because his character is on his character is a small character in the game, specifically to be like faster and not as strong and that sort of thing. So okay. I'll rework that one. I don't know the young lady you have for Blaze, but anytime I have an action opportunity, Katie O'Brien, I'm gonna stick her back in. I want her to get more work. She was actually, you know what, we were talking about the Running Man. She was the girl on the Running Man that was trying to stay alive. The one that had the cowboy hat in the car, the Cadillac driving off.
What? Hold on. I'm looking at somebody who named Katie O'Brien, but I had the wrong person. I was about to say, oh, the buff girl. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, she'll be fire.
And she's actually kind of like floating around a lot of action anyway, so I think she would fit in real well for that. I like your Scott Eastwood. I like that. I like Jesse T. Usher. Those two characters I think work very well. What was the girl's name you said from Euphoria?
Alexa Demi.
Yeah, you could put a headband around her. I can see that. Put the little sweatband Blaze be wearing. Little
both gonna have to
crop
wear
top
wigs.
leather jacket. That's actually good casting. I think I like all those characters, and I like the thought of having those characters come up against a Jason Statham in the end, and it being a legit fighting movie. Like,
what's the name of that game again?
Streets of Rage. I gotta hit Roberto tomorrow and be like, what do you think of these people for this? Because I know he's a fan of Streets of Rage. I gotta have him check that out. That works. Now, as far as the actual movie, do you think with what James Samuels has put out currently, The Harder They Fall, Book of Clarence? I mean, Book of Clarence doesn't really come to mind as like an action, but I like the pacing and the storytelling from Harder They Fall. I did very enjoy that movie. So I really
what I think it will do is from those two movies, I think it's like he makes very clear who the bad guy is, and he makes very clear why this person is like going after whatever the protagonist has. So I think it's really like a depends on the story you want to tell. Obviously, like it's some drug stuff because that's what the whole thing in Streets of Rage that era was about, just like gangs and drugs and
Right.
all that. And so it's like you might have a thing where it's like Eddie Skate Hunter gets caught up in that, and Adam has to go get his brother, and you know fighting ensues.
Let's see if there's a.
So is this something that has already been announced that they're making a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, they got this one coming out, and this is I don't know. I guess my only concern, of course, would be like you said, what the actual story is is going to be. Anytime you do a video game adaptation, there's always the fear that it doesn't translate. And a beat 'em up like this one, since it had an underlying story, like if they went back and tried to do a Double Dragon, the original Double Dragon movie that came out, um, only had one martial artist in it, Mark Dacascos. Um, and that
That
movie was
movie was
horrible.
crazy. That movie was crazy.
That movie was horrible. But that was also a time when like we were so happy to go to the movie theater and see anything that had a name we recognized. You
Yeah.
know, they could get away with that. You could make the Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins, and they could have big robotic boots to jump and stuff, and we was with it. Koopas were deformed dinosaurs. Who knew better? You know. Um, Now I think because of the success of so many video game adaptations to live action, the bar has been it's been raised to a point where there's a standard that you have to meet. Will Streets of Rage be Sonic good? You know, doesn't necessarily have to be Sonic good. You know, I think they got away with a little bit of that because of the digital animation of Sonic, you know, allowing Sonic to still kind of be cartoony and Sonic y. It still feels very fictional. You're going to do Streets of Rage where people are fighting, people are getting beaten up, people are getting kidnapped and such. You can still do the whole thing, make it PG-13, you know, kidnappings, like you said, the police officers who can't go about it the right way. So, you know, they go warrior style in the night. They're going to get Eddie back. And
It's my brother.
right.
It's
Right.
my
You know what I'm
brother.
saying? Something like that. And of course, it's like all of them started off as police officers. So, um, Adam, Blaze, and Axel were all former police officers. So it could be something as simple as, you know, you do a quick little introduction to show the three of them together, all on the force together. Eddie gets kidnapped. They try to go about it the right way. You know what I'm saying? They try to use law enforcement and follow the rules, follow the law to get the brother back. Mr. Big gets away because they got a corrupted chief or something. And so they turn in their badges and they're going to take to the streets to get his brother back.
Yeah.
That's the story in the game, so that should be the story in the movie. Don't fuck it up. Like it ain't hard on this one. I think
Yeah.
casting is going to be
Well, it's
really
also like the
important.
focus is the fighting. Like that
Right.
be the thing where it's like I think with Sonic, the interesting thing about it is like they took gameplay elements and just introduced those different things into the real world. So it
Yeah.
has a different energy, but the character has the same energy. It's just now he's in the real world with us. This needs to feel like its own gritty world, and it's just got to be a lot of fighting. Like I don't want, it got to be a lot of fighting. Like
Yeah.
Street Fighter, it wasn't a whole bunch of fighting in that movie. Like it was some, but it wasn't a whole bunch, and it's just
That
like,
was a bad military movie.
yeah, yeah,
I got to see the new Street
it
Fighter to
was
see what that's
missing
what
in
that's hitting on.
action.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think honestly, that whole intro sequence that I gave to explain the movie could all be done in the opening sequence. That's like while the opening credits are rolling,
you can make that.
you could literally show. I mean, I'm literally thinking like during the opening credits, you could have like a picture of the brother, show him kind of like strung out, or almost like when the people were working with the Foot Clan, how they got adopted into the clan because these were homeless kids with nowhere to go, so they just joined this gang. You show the brother is like a part of Mr. X's gang, you know,
Yeah,
and then you show like maybe he gets a phone call and it's from his brother and he just like ignores the call. You show like do a James Bond montage intro where you have like a picture of the three of them in their police uniforms graduating the academy. And then you show like a little bit of a clip of them like doing different arrests and stuff. Let me not sit here and write this movie for him, because if you use my idea,
you
and I don't
show
even credit,
different clips of them beating people ass. That's what you show.
yeah, all these
punch.
officers have excessive
I
force
ain't-
violation.
I ain't trying to see no police academy graduation. I want to see fists flying, kicking.
Well, no, see, I think you have to first establish that these were good officers, and the
picking
law
up
failed
chickens
them.
off the street.
No, these were good officers. The law failed them, so then they decided to take the law into their own hands.
That's what it used to be on the game, Teresa. If your health was going down, like sometimes you knock over a trash can and a chicken, like a cooked chicken, will come out, and then you pick it up and you get some health bars back.
You might find a whole pizza.
Yeah,
You got yourself muted, but yeah, you find like a whole pizza, and most of the side scrolling beat 'em ups are kind of like that. It was really weird. Like, who puts a whole turkey or a whole chicken? And it would be like the platter with the apples around it and stuff. If they don't include that in the movie, though, I'm gonna be upset.
yeah.
Like, just even as an Easter egg, it could be like they have to take a break. They got to like catch their breath or something. He's like, man, my energy's low. I could go for a meal or something. And then he just like looks over, kicks over a trash can, and the whole turkey
rotisserie
falls out.
chicken flies
Right,
out
like
of
the
it.
whole rotisserie chicken falls out. He's like, well, there you go. There's some health right there. And he looks at him. Man, I'm not eating that. But that would be a nice Easter egg to pop in.
And
Man, we don't make a
homage,
damn
if
movie
you
at some
will.
point. We got these ideas. The idea is there. The script would be interesting, but it wouldn't be hard. It'd be a lot of fighting. It'd be like 100 words the whole movie, just ass kicking from beginning to end. You kidnapped my brother. Now I'm here to avenge him. Fight me. What else do you need? And they just go at it. I could go for that. I think, you know what? I think you bring a good point. There's not a lot that they have to do with this, and it would be very easy to establish good guys from the bad guys, why the good guys are going after the bad guy, and you keep it simple, to the point. Fists are flying and the streets are filled with rage. It's nothing complex to it. I could actually be hopeful for this movie. The first casting announcements are going to determine how much I like that, though. First casting announcements are going to tell me how I'm gonna feel about it. I can reserve judgment on the series until like it actually releases and I get to see it. But yeah, if they don't cast the right people, it's gonna have me real hesitant to. And here's a good segue for casting. I've been watching Spider Noir on Amazon Prime, and this show fits Nick Cage so well. Funny thing about Nick Cage is for most people, you either love him or hate him. There's not a lot of room for in between. And even if you hate Nick Cage, since this is in fact a comic book movie, or it's a TV series based on comic book characters. It's Spider Noir, so it's Spider-Man in like the 1940s crime thriller noir detective story. Amazon Prime gives you two ways to watch it. You can watch it in lustrous color, or you can watch it in black and white. I have actually been enjoying it. I watched half the first episode in color just so I could get an idea of what it could do. And then I continued to just watch the show in black and white so that I could really, get into the noir setting. And it helps. It does. It's really weird because I thought I wasn't going to care for the black and white because when was the last time I watched something in black and white?
Right.
But it's fitting and it actually really works with the show. And Lee Jun Lee is yes. Now that's the lady from Sinners we all pissed off at.
Mm.
The little Asian lady that was trying to save her husband and worried about a kid and got everybody, put everybody in danger. She plays Felicia Hardy, who in the comics is typically referred to or known as Black Cat. In this one, she's Felicia Hardy, nicknamed Cat. She's a lounge singer. Nicolas Cage plays. Say what?
They didn't get mad about that? Changing our white characters?
Changing her from Black Cat to Siamese Cat?
That's a clip. I think they didn't mind because Lee Jun Lee looks phenomenal on this show. And at first, like when after Sinners, and we got to see the ladies of Sinners, and they were doing their press walk, and got to see her differently. It was like, oh yeah, she's Asian lady. She's actually really pretty. But when I see this in Spider Noir, I'm like, oh, okay, oh wow, I didn't know she looked like that. Like, okay, she's wow, okay. She looks better than she does on her red carpet.
Sinners.
Say what?
I said I think she was pretty in Sinners.
She was, but like even with the period piece, like
Sam said,
I don't know,
like
like
with that slave shit.
it was just like that little shop owner stuff. I just, but I mean, honestly, I also feel like they purposely kind of like nobody was. Smoke and Stack were probably the only two people that like looked good because they were coming in from out of town. They brought their out of town money. You know what I'm saying? Like they came in on some hustle type stuff. So of course they was presenting themselves. And then, Woman just had her natural beauty. And Mary had money, so
Pearline tried to wash up, but
she got washed up.
But Pearline also walked 6 miles before she got there and was like sweating when she was there. And then she got on stage, she was singing and dance. So, like in no way, shape, fashion, or form am I saying that any of them were unattractive.
I know what you mean. It just was not a glam situation at all.
Right. And in this, every time you see her, she's like either on stage to be dolled up or she's fresh off stage. And, like the women of the 40s who had money, that's how she looked every time you see her. Now, Lamorne Morris, this man is hilarious. That's your guy from New Girl.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, no,
He is hilarious.
He's crazy.
He is hilarious in this show. He plays Robbie Robertson, who was a reporter at the Daily Bugle. And I will say he is the reason to switch back and forth between black and white and color, because my boy is clean. You have to switch it to color sometimes just to see some of these suits that he has on. Because he gets fresh. And surprisingly enough, the show is quite entertaining. Like, it doesn't try to be anything too serious. It is Spider-Man adjacent. It is not Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have that Peter Parker's life is horrible, because it's not Peter Parker. It's Ben Riley. It's a dude with spider powers who goes by the Spider. He's a private detective, and he's trying to solve a mystery. There's crosses and double crosses and this and that's, and I gotta say, it's refreshing. Like, right when you would think, like, oh man, we have yet another. Just every time you turn around, there's another thing, and then lo and behold, and it's like, damn, this is really entertaining. And so I would say, if you get an opportunity to watch Spider Noir, check it out. I'm not gonna tell anybody they need to sign up for Amazon Prime to watch it, but it is a solid B plus as far as like comic book content goes. Um, all of the characters that they used were nice, like tie-ins. They were, the cast of characters and the people that they're using the characters that they're showing. I think they all do a great job. They got Sandman, they got Shocker, they got Tombstone, and how it all kind of comes together. Really been enjoying that show. Like I said, I give it a solid B plus. And yeah, Nick Cage gets to be Nick Cage. He has so many Nick Cage-esque scenes, but it's literally written for him to be that. Um, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I don't think there's a whole lot. There's nothing I can really say without ruining. Since it's a detective noir story, you got to figure out who this, who that, and don't want to spoil that potentially for anybody. Jeff, I'm gonna have to research and think a little more about who I would want to put in the rest of those roles. I like your original casting, and a couple of people that I could think right off. Like I said, I thought Booker might look a little bit more like Jesse T. Usher, but they can't be looking eye to eye and that be his little brother. At the same time, that might even work though, because we need to believe that, you know, it would be valid for him to be in that situation. We don't want the kids to be too young getting caught up like that.
I mean, that's how it be though. He on them skates. He's skating through the city, moving in packs.
I mean, that explains how he's doing what he do, but then when it comes time for him to fight, like how old is that young man?
He in his teens. He at least 16.
Okay, he can throw a punch. Then I believe his punch. I believe his punch. Cause hell, I imagine Booker can't be too much older.
I think Booker grown.
But like he can't be too much older.
Isaiah Russell Bailey is 19.
Okay, and yeah, see, Isaac Brown is only 20. So yeah. Well, see, that's what a life of hard drugs and skates will do to you. You know, have him out there acting up. But yeah, that would probably be the. I don't think there would be enough of a change to warrant switching it out. We'd probably do just fine with who you've got. And the rest can be just fixed up with movie magic. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be perfect, spot on. That's what makeup and all that good stuff is for. Um, so yeah, but I am gonna go and look and see if there's anybody I would like more than Scott Eastwood for Axel, and I already know who I want for Blaze. Just because any opportunity I can see Katie O'Brien kicking somebody's ass on screen, I'm for it. Yeah. So Teresa told us about He-Man. I'm happy to hear that Masters of the Universe is a corny 80 cheese fest of cartoon magic. Oh, I have a major question here. Because Jared Leto was in the movie as Skeletor.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a movie
like
that
that
you
face.
saw. Look, and I'm like, this is a movie that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you were still able to say that you enjoyed it.
Yeah. He actually,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe cheese is his genre.
Forte.
Yeah.
He needs to lean more into the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. He actually did a pretty good Skeletor.
Okay.
You know, maybe it's because we can't see his face.
Hey, that makes a whole lot of, because there ain't no method acting with Skeletor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So it ain't.
And I think, you know, one of the things I think that kind of irks people about him is, you know, like overacting, kind of, you know, being a bit too much. And Skeletor is a bit much, you know. Yeah. So I mean, I think he's kind of found his niche with being too much with Skeletor.
Mm.
Yeah, I actually like his portrayal.
Okay. Nah, I will have to get to a point where I get to check that out. So, okay, cool.
Because, you know, you wouldn't know it was him. If you didn't know Jared Leto was in the movie, if you didn't know it was him, you wouldn't know it was him. So, you know, that.
There you go.
There you go.
And I think that says volumes by itself, because Jared Leto go Jared Leto.
Exactly.
And if he wasn't if he was Skeletoring and not Jared Letoing, then
he was scared.
Sound like
Skeletoring.
Okay, then that's reassuring. Sounds like that could work out. Okay, well, Spider Noir got a B+ from me. Teresa gave a thumbs up of approval for Masters of the Universe. It was not foolishness, so that means it was fantastic. That means it was amazing. Go see it in theaters today, you know. But no, just I'm happy to hear that it wasn't foolishness and that it is all the cheesy gloriness that is He-Man. Fingers crossed for future of DC doing better, and I'm gonna stay hopeful for Lanterns. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna stay hopeful.
Keep hope alive.
Somebody got to. Somebody got to. That's what the S stand for. It stands for hope. Right? It stands for hope. So I hope.
He said, I hope you don't think we about to let this nigga just come in here by himself and start turning up.
Right.
Once he get his ring, hey, it's on the popping, you know. Can't tell that man what he can and can't do. If he can imagine it, he can be it. So that's what I'm waiting to see. But no, seriously.
Imagine freedom, brother.
But lastly, I will say, like, you know, support your local comic artists, support indie comics, all the Black creators, all the Black leads in comics. There's plenty out there. I would, you know what? I'm not about promoting a bunch of people, but check out Dr. Kiori Knight on TikTok. She has a wonderful compilation of Black comics, Black comic characters, and it is just all the goodness. You got a question about a Black character in comics, she got the answer. And so yeah, definitely check her out. She actually did a highlight one time on Tuskegee Airs, and I tagged Greg in it and put them together, and he sent her all the copies, and I'm like, I don't even have all the copies. That's how I was feeling some kind of way, but I get it. It's cool.
You should have all the copies now.
Oh, I have all the copies now, but at the time I have all the copies.
Okay.
And she did a TikTok and showed the box with all her copies. I was like, but no, she actually did it. She did a really cool highlight on the characters from that comic series, and it was just the fact that I knew that I could put those two people in touch with one another. And I was happy to do that. And I, again, like I say, support your local artists, support your local comics, the independent comics. There's plenty out there. So DC and Marvel, DC especially, Marvel's, they do their part, but they could do more, but they are at least doing their part. DC has dropped the ball big time. So even though the official
Them crackers.
boycott.
That's what DC stand for.
Them crackers.
Even though DC has dropped the ball up to this point, and the official boycott is over, I think I'm just going to continue doing what I've been doing, and I'm just going to keep going down the rabbit hole of these independent comics and these independent creators. I like to see something new and not just more of the same. And there's some characters out there with all of the skills and powers that I'm accustomed to seeing in my heroes. So I've got options now, and that's what they're afraid of, having options. When you ain't got but one choice, that's what you got to keep going back. But when you start having options, you can make them act right. Folks, we want to thank you for being with us here tonight. We've had a great time talking about these topics, and hope you had a great time listening. Teresa has the magic square. Just point up. All you got to do is point up. You ain't even got don't left, right, just up.
How about this?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
It's up there somewhere.
It's right there. She's got the magic square. Click that QR code. That will take you to everywhere you can find Grown A Geeks. We are pretty much on all social medias. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Doesn't mean a lot for you, but it means the world to us. It really helps the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. For Teresa, Jeffrey, I'm Elder Geek Sam, and we are about to be out of here. The screen is frozen and won't scroll up. Like, I'm trying to scroll up and it won't scroll up. Right. It's always something. There we go. But yeah, we are out of here. Peace.